flame. Silent halls where voices die, stone for a cradle, tears run dry.
Episode 2. Before the Theology, the Ache. Part 1. Overview. The Wound. Before we get to the answers, we need to spend time in the questions. That might feel counterintuitive. Most of us come to devotional content because we want resolution, clarity, comfort, a word that settles something that has been unsettled. And there will be resolution in this series, real resolution, hard-won and worth the walk. But we are not going there yet, because the journey this song takes, the journey I believe God actually walks with us through, doesn't skip the wound to get to the healing. It starts in the wound. It names the wound. It sits with the wound long enough to let it be real. That is what part 1 is about. And I want to say something before we go any further. If you hear anger in the vocals of this song, you're supposed to. Because I was angry, sad and angry, both at the same time, the way those two things have a habit of living together when something in your life doesn't make sense and nobody is giving you an explanation for it. The opening of Give and Take doesn't open with a prayer. It opens with a cold hearth, with silence in the hallways, with someone else's fire burning while yours has gone out. It opens with a thirst that has no name yet, and a crack running through a place where something was supposed to live. And then, only after all of that has been laid out, it opens into the cry underneath all of it. God, if you see, what's wrong with me? That line is not a gentle question. It's not a quiet wondering. It's the sound of someone who has been watching the world work for everyone around them and genuinely cannot understand why it isn't working for them. What did I do wrong? Why does this not make sense? This isn't fair. This isn't right. All these things in life that are basic. Why did I lack? I don't know what those things are for you. Maybe what I experienced feels like nothing compared to what you've carried. Or maybe it's the reverse. Maybe what you've lived through makes my story feel small. It doesn't matter. The missing is the missing. The specific shape of the wound is yours, but the feeling underneath it, the one that asks, why me? Why not me? What is wrong with this picture? That feeling has the same weight no matter what fills it in. Your losses will hurt you in ways I might not fully understand. Mine have hurt me in ways you might not fully understand. But we are in the same room. We always have been. I'm not entirely sure why we get wired this way. The obvious answer is sin. And it's true, as uncomfortable as it is to say plainly. It is hard to cheer when it's someone else's time. We always want acknowledgement of the pain when we miss out. Envy takes hold of us and slowly, quietly, centers the entire world around us. Our lack, our missing, our unmet need. And how dare anything get in the way of that? How dare someone else's fullness occupy the same space as our hunger? That's what envy does. It takes the wound, which was real, and turns it into a lens. And through that lens, everything becomes evidence. Their success is your failure. Their fullness is your emptiness. Their fire is proof that yours is out. Envy is angry and sad. And here is what I know from living inside it for longer than I should have. It does not make the hurt better. It makes it worse. It always makes it worse. Not because the original pain wasn't real, it was, but because envy promises to explain the pain and instead just amplifies it. It gives the wound something to feed on and calls that healing. That is what part 1 of this series walks through: the cold hearth, the thirst, the crack, and the moment that interior wound turns outward and becomes something pointed directly at God. Their arms are full, mine only ache. You gave them joy and left me to bleed. Why take from me what I most need? That is the language of a person in genuine pain. And I want to say clearly before we enter this territory, that language is not disqualifying. It is not evidence of weak faith or spiritual failure. The Psalms are full of it. Job carried it for chapters. Jeremiah sat in it long and hard. The tradition of bringing the raw, unmanaged, unpolished truth of our pain to God is as old as faith itself. God is not frightened by our accusation. He is large enough to hold it. What He does with it, that is what the rest of this series is about. But for now, we begin here, in the cold, in the comparison, in the question underneath the envy most of us have been too composed to say out loud. Come into part 1 with honesty. Bring whatever version of this wound is real for you. Bring the comparison. Bring the confusion. Bring the anger if it's there. Bring the sadness that lives just underneath it. There is room for all of it here.